Welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for younger gamers by gamers. I'm Hex.
And I'm Barjo.
And I am Darren. What? Malfunction!
I changed his voice chip over.
That wasn't very nice.
It's funny though.
I'll change it back.
What are you doing back? What are you doing that? Much better.
It's a shame. Coming up this week, PlayStation SingStar gets stamped with your one-face review verdict.
Breaks a new heart every day.
We'll also be conquering the rolling hills of Europe in the RTS game Napoleon Total War.
Ah yes, real-time strategy. It's one of the most hardcore gaming genres, from setting waypoints to collecting resources, base building. There's a lot to get your head around.
In fact, there are a variety of ways that you can play a real-time strategy game, and not everyone agrees on the same formula for gaining the upper hand over an opponent.
Which is why before we review Napoleon Total War, we're going to give you our most effective top 5 real-time strategy strats.
They're dynamite.
Dynamite. You can't have the real-time strategy genre without a whole bunch of strategies, and it's no good having a strategy at all if it isn't the best. We're here with the Uppsala Medieval Recreation Society to reenact 5 of the most strategic real-time strategies in real time. First up, number 5! Turtling is a tactic that involves taking an almost 100% defensive stance on the battlefield. While your enemy is recruiting soldiers and preparing their raiding parties, the turtling strategist totally avoids confrontation and instead focuses on building up their base and their defenses until they are nearly impenetrable. Turtling can be an effective technique if you want to prolong a battle or delay an enemy's victory until you have enough resources to mount a successful counterattack, or until they just get bored, pack up and go home. Cheesing, as it's known to pro RTS players, is a highly unconventional and devious strategy used by underhanded players looking to score an easy win at the expense of their dignity. It's usually used in StarCraft, and there are several versions of it, but the funniest is sending a unit to construct a pylon, which is a structure that allows you to build other structures around it, and then setting up a bunch of teleporters just outside their base. An even cheesier version of the strategy is just to go and build a bunch of turrets right outside their base, which will quickly demolish them in seconds. Cheesing is a lot like a strong fromage. It should only be used sparingly. Next is a strategy that's a part of any good offense, and it can be combined with any other strat we've already mentioned. It's number 3 on our list, and it's called raiding. A raid is a small sortie designed to irritate your enemies, and basically just involves sending out small teams of troops to knock out any straggling squads or undefended posts. The idea behind raiding is that it distracts your enemy from getting too involved in building up their economy, because they're spending all their time defending themselves from your niggling attacks. This makes the attack later in the game much more devastating. In the RTS world, greed can be good, and the best strategy for your economy is booming. Booming leaves your base relatively defenseless at the start of the game, but as you build up your economy and technology levels, you'll be able to buy bigger and better defensive and offensive units, and stand a better chance of totally steamrolling your opponents when the time comes. In its simplest form, the rush is the strategy of building as many of your cheapest, nastiest units as fast as possible, and then rushing them over to your opponent's base. I'll take 100 if you please. It's a risky strategy because if your rush doesn't work, you'll have wasted all your time and resources on breeding your army of cheap soldiers, which will leave your own base vulnerable. But if executed correctly, a rush can leave your rival's base in ruins and see you take the win. So, all you real-time strategy strategists, next time you want to rush a base, cheese a noob, or boom your economy, just remember the Good Game top 5 real-time strategy strats, and you should be able to keep an even head in the heat of battle. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Did you get away?
No.
Alright, well now that you're all RTS pros, it's time to look at one of the most epic RTS games there is, the latest Total War game, Napoleon. But first, a little history on the franchise. The Total War series began back in 2000 with the release of Shogun Total War, introducing to RTS games a combination of real-time and turn-based strategy, and also putting you in control of hundreds and even thousands of units at a time.
Yeah, Total War games have always offered an exciting mix of history laid over epic strategy, and have spanned many periods from ancient Rome to medieval Europe to colonial America.
Also, the developers that created Assembly are partly Australian, with half of their office in Brisbane and the other half in the English town of Horsham, so this is actually some homegrown gaming goodness.
They fear me, like a force of nature, a dealer in thunder and death. I say, I am Napoleon. I am Emperor.
This time around, there's no grand campaign. Instead, there are 5 smaller ones spanning the life of Napoleon from his early triumphs in Italy all the way through to his eventual defeat in Waterloo. However, this time, you're in control of the little Frenchman, so defeat is anything but assured.
There's also a few campaigns giving you the chance to fight against Napoleon, forcing you down a more historically accurate path. And this forces you to sort of replicate history as opposed to forging your own, and this kind of irked me, Badge, because it means that you have less control over your overall strategy, but there's something to be said for having a tighter historical focus.
Yeah, it's nice to play a game that teaches you something once in a while. It's edutainment. Am I learning? Am I gaming? Am I learning? Am I gaming? Now I'm learning? I'm glearning.
Yeah, what matters though is how much fun it is, and thanks to some great new effects in the battlefield, it's glorious fun planning out your grand military strategy, watching your little guys line up to take turns at shooting each other.
Epic clouds of smoke will form and blow across the battlefield, and the cannonballs hit with a more satisfying punch now. There's nothing quite like watching cannonballs fly across the battlefield, rip through your enemy's lines, and send their men flying in all directions.
Didn't it bug you though that most of them seem to just pick themselves back up and then get back into the fight after being nailed with a cannonball?
You know, I had the most fun when I was on the back foot. When you're down to those few hundred units fighting off thousands, and you get down to the last couple of guys and you manage to pull it off somehow, it's just a victory that even Napoleon himself would want to high-five you at.
Didn't you find the enemy AI a bit stupid at times though? I mean, often they'd send their general unit rushing forward by itself on a suicide mission. I mean, sure they were generally better at keeping their lines together, but mostly they just walk forward into my lines and get decimated.
The RTS side of things is only one half of the Total War formula. What truly sets it apart from other RTS is the excellent turn-based gameplay, which is fundamental to your success on the battlefield.
Yeah, and it feels like this is the area that got the most attention. Diplomacy is now much more of a factor to gameplay, and there's also a new function which allows you to liberate cities, which doesn't give you control of the city, but it actually turns a whole country into one of your protectorates.
Well, there's a ton here to keep wannabe generals busy, and it's Total War at its historical best. I'm giving it 8 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's great epic strategy to indulge in, and it's the most fun you'll ever have in a history lesson. I'm giving it 8 as well.
Hex. Hex, are you here? What are all these games for?
They're for research.
What?
Yeah, to answer all the viewers' emails.
Ah, well, what are they struggling with this week?
Oh, well, first up there's this from Liam in Perth.
What are some good racing games for the PS3? Well, Liam, there are plenty of great ones on the PS3. It just depends on what kind of race you like. If you like them more fun than realistic, then Need for Speed Shift and Race Driver Grid are great. Or if you prefer off-track rally action, then the Dirt series is nice and dirty.
Or if you prefer hovercraft with lasers to puny little cars with wheels, then you really can't go past the Wipeout series, which offers up some of the fastest and most hectic racing in any game ever.
But of course, if you're after a dose of realism, then there's the epic Gran Turismo 5 coming out later this year. We wouldn't recommend getting GT5 Prologue though, because it was a bit lame.
Also coming out this year is Mod Nation Races, which aims to combine the kart racing of Mario Kart with the creative freedom of Little Big Planet, letting you design your own karts and courses that you can share with the rest of the world. Sounds promising.
Speaking of Little Big Planet, we've got this from Robert in Brisbane.
In Little Big Planet, what levels should I make to get the most plays? Well, Robert, there's no one trick that will get people to play on your level, but the best way— stop shaking the table.
I'm not here.
But the best way is to make it as fun and interesting as possible. That if you can manage that, then people will leave good feedback, and so more people will want to check it out, and before you know it, you'll have heaps of plays. Bless you.
Thanks. Yeah, it's definitely worth having a look at the more popular levels that people have made to get some inspiration. Try to see what it is that makes those levels fun, but of course don't just rip them off, as something original will always get more plays than the same old stuff everyone's seen 1,000 times before.
But sometimes being original isn't the best idea though, and you may want to base your level on another popular game that you like. For example, you'll notice that there are more than a few Mario-inspired levels around, and having the draw of such a recognised name can help you attract players.
Well, Hex, I'm feeling more creative now, so let's go with this from Leighton in Alice Springs.
Do you know any websites that let you make games from scratch? Well, Leighton, making a game is no small effort. It takes years of experience in various fields like art design, programming, animation, the list goes on.
Yeah, making a game is complicated, but luckily there are some websites that can help. One of the better ones is Sploder.com, which lets you design your own little platforming or shooting games.
It's fairly basic and you're pretty limited with what you can do, but that is expected since, well, like we said, making games is no simple task. They've essentially done 90% of the work for you by giving you the art and the code and just leaving the actual design work to you.
If you want something a bit more challenging, then there's the Kodu Game Lab available as a free download, which gives you a great set of tools to create your own games. Again, all the art and basic code have been done for you, but you're given a lot of freedom to design cool 3D games just how you want.
And with that, we've run out of time again.
Oh well, you know what to do, Spawn. If you've got a question, jump on our site and send it in. Stop making a mess.
No, please. Touch these ones are mine. Neat piles of perfection. Smell bad.
It's time for the One Face review, and this week we're looking at SingStar. SingStar! Oh, Baljo, give me a microphone.
I don't have them, Darren.
Oh.
Yes, it's time for the home karaoke fun of SingStar to withstand the tsunami of public opinion.
But I wanted to sing.
No.
It all began in 2004 when Sony took advantage of the USB ports on the PlayStation 2 to produce a couple of microphone peripherals and the sing-along software that would put gamers in the music video of their choice. SingStar was born to the sounds of artists like Madonna, Avril Lavigne, Good Charlotte and Rick Astley, challenging players to warble along with the correct pitch and timing and rated in real time, usually to the amusement of gathered friends and family.
With the disc holding roughly 30 music videos, it was the inevitable avalanche of standalone games from pop hits to 80s to ballads to old classic tunes and even Disney tunes.
Under the sea.
With the launch of the PS3, SingStar would evolve into a more sophisticated package. Not only did the microphones go wireless, but players could start to add effects to their vocals, sing in harmony with friends, go online to purchase individual songs from the PlayStation Store, and use the PlayStation Eye to record their own performances in their living room and share it online. Don't get any ideas, Darren.
Too late, Baljo.
No!
Never gonna run around and desert you.
And the special releases have kept on coming, with artist-specific versions like SingStar ABBA and SingStar Take That, as well as localised song packs for us Aussies to download, giving homegrown talent a run as well, like Silverchair, Augie March and Crowded House.
SingStar fans can now download a video editor online to give their own homegrown videos a touch of top 40 magic, and you can also spend hours browsing the hundreds of hilarious videos online, so it's really gone from a simple karaoke game into a fully fledged online community of wannabe pop stars.
And robots.
Well, I think we should get a verdict on this sucker. Darren, would you do the honours?
Affirmative. Shuffling pixels, scanning thumbs, analysing noob quotient, defragging my MP3 collection. I have a verdict. You won't believe this, Baljo, Hex, but the Spawn Point viewers think that SingStar is awesome.
How about that? I guess once you've succumbed to the SingStar spotlight, it's hard to step away.
Well, thanks for that, Darren, and very well processed. Thanks to everyone who sent their pics in to our Spawn Point website for the One Face review. If you'd like to take part in next week's One Face review, send your pics here.
Well, I'm looking forward to next week. It's Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. We want your verdict, so take your pic and send it in before Darren sings again.
Will things ever be the same again? It's the final countdown. The final countdown.
Well, that's it for another short but sweet episode of Good Games Spawn Point. Next week, we listen to the top 5 most memorable gaming tunes.
We take to the field in our review of Rugby League 3.
And we teach you how to train a dragon in How to Train Your Dragon.
Remember to send in your One Face review pics to the Spawn Point website, and why not drop by the forums and let us know what you think. Until next week, gamers, Barjo out.
Hex out.
Yes, I changed your voice chips around. I think it's an improvement. Darren out.